Chettri, and I'll be your host for this beginner-friendly discussion about IGF. Uh, Now, in this session, we'll know why it matters, what it is, and how you can get involved. Uh, how you can get involved, and you may turn on your cameras if you feel comfortable, but it's not mandatory for the session. Let me introduce our guest for today. It's Mr. Shreedeep Rayamajhi, a passionate advocate for internet governance and the founder of the Learn Internet Governance YouTube channel. Mr. Shreedeep has extensive experience empowering individuals, especially youth, to participate in global internet governance discussions and policy making. Thank you, Mr. Shreedeep, for joining us today. In this 45-minute session, we'll cover three main topics, that is, what is IGF and why it matters, how youth can contribute to IGF and internet governance, and at the end, we'll have a short Q&A where you can ask your questions. Uh, Feel free to drop your questions in the chat anytime, and we'll address them during the Q&A. So let's get started. Okay. Mr. Shreedeep, do you have anything to add for the introduction?
Yeah, so basically, my name is Shreedeep Rayamajhi. I'm from Nepal, and I have been engaging in the internet governance forum or community from past probably more than 20 years. It has been about to become 2 decades. When I joined, the funny thing is, I searched internet and society in a search engine. So back then in 2004 or 5, and the internet society popped up. So that was my beginning of my internet governance journey. And within that, we opened internet society Nepal chapter here in Nepal. I'm one of the founding members, and from then and there I started engaging, learning, voicing out issues, especially with youth, because just like your country, Nepal is also a small country where youth are not so privileged. I mean to say, we have thoughts, we have voices, but it is kind of like not genuinely put in a more proactive way. So I always had this different voice or idea about how internet should be, or how things should be run, or how policies should be. And that was my starting point when I joined internet society. They gave us the values. I mean to say, when you talk about internet, there are certain core values that you have to understand, and how you can benefit it from that, and further work your way to bridge that gap in between the world. So these values are very important. And I think it is very important regarding the IGF. You want to ask what an IGF is. So IGF is Internet Governance Forum. So back then in 2005, it was established, when all the world leaders came into a conference called WCIS. So people came in, that's World Summit on Information Society. And then they thought about creating a multi-stakeholder platform where people could come and talk. So they created IGF. Though IGF sounds very formal, but it is not a formal event. I mean, when I say it is not a formal event, so it is something like, it works in a very in a very in a community way, where all the discussions that happen are created in a report, and then it is forwarded to the UN for consideration. So and there are different sessions that are happening regarding digital rights, cybersecurity, you name it, youth issues, gender issues, technology, well-being, everything. So there are a lot of sessions. If you go through the IGF website also, you will have an idea about what it is, and how you can engage. But it is very important, especially for the developing nations like ours, to come and understand the standardization process of how youths are taking the issues. Because why it is important? Because Youth are the leaders. It is very surprising that a lot of the times the policy making is done by older people, but when you come talk about technology, it is all about the youth. They know the issues, they have the issues, and that is the reason why there are different youth IGFs that are done. And it is very important for the role of the youth, because they understand the challenges, they understand the problems, and they have the solution.
Thank you so much for that introduction. It was very insightful, Mr. Shreedeep. So you have answered us like what is Internet Governance Forum and why it was created. So I wanted to ask who are the main stakeholders involved in the Internet Governance Forum and how can they collaborate? Of course, you have mentioned the youth right now. Apart from youth, who are the people who can come together and collaborate in the Internet Governance Forum?
So when you talk about different stakeholders, it is all about the country structure, right? So we have different stakeholders. Like every country has this government side, the private sector that runs the businesses, the civil society, the technical community, and right now the user group. Though the civil society comes under the user group, it is there. But a lot of the times, what happens is youth and user groups are more focused, so they come under civil society. But still, because civil society is majorly run by NGOs, public policy process, so there is a sense of giving opportunity to the youth. So this is the reason why they've started giving opportunity for the youth and students, so that they can create better engagement, and voice out the issues. As I've already mentioned, this is the challenge, especially for the developing nation, that we need youth, we need the voices, we need the challenges, we need the opportunities. We have to create the opportunities. Only when the youth speak, only when the youth engage, only when the youth is empowered, that's when we can create a better policy to facilitate the economy. So that has been understood, that has been realized, and that is the reason why the youth are given more priority, especially in the UN, IGF, and the communities.
Yes, I have also like just joined internet governance, like been into this loophole for a very short time, like 1 year, through Net Mission Academy last year. And
Right.
basically that time I was in college, so I was in the youth sector. I think up until the age 30, we are considered youth,
Right.
right?
Youth. Right.
And there are many other sectors as well, like technical, academia, and many more. So it was really interesting that there are such kind of groups who come together and formulate policies for us. So that was very insightful for me. Also, we get chance to go to other countries and network and meet other people in the fellowships. I think we can ask her about fellowships, how we can get into it later in the discussion. So the next
Yeah, one
question
thing.
yes, yes.
Oh, so one thing that I would like to mention is, in this world today, the policy that is made is look into with a different approach. I mean to say, when we talk about the democratic approach today, there is a point where we want to have a multi-stakeholder engagement, right? So when you're making a policy about internet, you want to take the idea from the government, you want to take the idea from the private sector, you want to take the idea from the civil society, all the NGOs, and all those digital rights and stuff, from the technical community, as well as from the user group as well. As I've already mentioned, civil society encompasses the user group, but still, like youth and user groups are taken into a separate consideration, highlighting, because these groups are focused. And let me tell you, the perfect example to understand why it is very important for our from our side, from Asia, that we have to educate, or we have to step into these standardization process, because the next billion that is coming is not coming from the developed nation, it is coming from the countries like Nepal, from Africa, and from Asia. So that is the reason why we have to be prepared, we have to come, because the challenges will be coming from our side. So yeah.
Yes, that's true. And I think we are specifically like focusing on youth because in future they are going to be the future leaders. So we
Right.
want to shape their thoughts right now so that they can make better decisions and help us
So true.
formulate better policies for the like internet, right?
So true.
Yes. So my next question would be, why is internet governance important? I think you answered this question right now, but I think I'll just ask the question. Why is internet governance important for everyone, not just experts or policymakers?
Yeah. So as I've already said, internet governance is important because you have to understand the topic internet and governance. So it is as simplified as that. It is governing internet with certain values, right? Values that help us to understand what a normal person's right is. Values those are transparent. Values those are accountable, and it's equal for everyone, right? So that is the reason why it is very important for all the nations to understand the issues of what internet governance is all about, to work together. I mean to say, different stakeholder coming in together and making the policy, that helps, that benefits the country, right? So the advantage is there within the country level, within the youth level, because for youth internet governance is important because it gives you values, right? So you can understand and see why internet is important, because internet is like a knife. I always say this: internet is like a knife. You don't you don't like take away knife. What you do is, when you have a knife in your home, you give values to your children, teach them. If you cut the knife, blood comes out, it hurts. So internet is like that. So you have to teach the youth about the values of how you can use internet for your benefit, how you can make it more progressive, how you can generate more income, how you can create a better policies. And there are like so many advantages that you can do. So that is the reason why it is very important that we have to collaborate, work, standardize the issues.
Yes, sir. So actually, I think many more people joined after we started the session. So I
Okay.
think, is it okay for you to introduce yourself again, once
Sure,
again?
sure. No worries. No worries.
Yes, sir.
My name is Shreedeep Rayamajhi, and I'm one of the leaders from Asia. I'm from Nepal. I've been working in youth engagement in IGF, Internet Governance Forum, from past 2 decades. You can say 2 decades. And my journey has been motivating youth. I founded Raise News and Learn IG, Learn Internet Governance, where we promote youth leadership. We believe that youth leadership is leadership of today, not tomorrow. Why? Because youth have the values, youth have the problems, youth have the challenges, right? And youth can create the solution. So that is very important, and that is the way how we can create a better society, an engaging society. And that is my whole motive. And I work with youth, especially with developing nations. I've worked across the globe, in Africa, in North America. And I was also the general secretary of the Asia Pacific School of Internet Governance. I've been mentoring APR, IGF, Asia Pacific Regional Internet Governance Forum. I was part of the UN IGF group, NRI group. So I've been learning, I've been working, and I think there is a greater opportunity for everyone. Because once you start to learn, there is always a way. And once you figure it out, then there are opportunities to explore, there are opportunities to reach out. Just like this opportunity, I reached out to Prerna reached out to me, and we are doing an engagement, and sharing my part of the knowledge. And I think it is so beautiful because technology has made it possible, right? And we could create something beautiful out of it.
Actually, sir was also my mentor during APRIGI
Yes.
2024 session that was held in Taiwan. So he mentored us really well. Mr. Shreedeep is also a very passionate advocate for internet governance, and he's also founder of the YouTube channel Learn Internet Governance, which really deep dive into what internet governance is about and how you can be a part of it. And he has extensive experience, as he mentioned earlier, in empowering individuals, especially youth, to participate in global internet governance discussions and policy making. And I'm really grateful that Sir decided to join us and share his valuable knowledge with all of us today. Uh, so, Sir, can you also tell us again what IGF is and why it matters to all the new participants who joined?
Yeah, so basically, IGF was created out of a mandate from WCIS back in 2005, and it was started in 2006. And the whole idea was to create a multi-stakeholder platform where people could speak, could create standard values. Because if you look at the American practice, if you look at the England practice, if you look at the Asia practice, these things are like completely different. So the values that they have, and there are a lot of barriers. I mean to say, you have your own language, we have our own language, and still we are using English as a bridge. But we want to use our language, right? So there are different communities that are working in the community to, if you know or not, there is a thing called universal acceptance. So it is being adopted in India, where they could write in Devanagari their script, where they could read. So that is being facilitated. So these services, to facilitate these services, you need a common platform. And I think UNIGF is somewhat like a platform that facilitates these kind of dialogues, where different community people, different stakeholder people come in, and they talk about issues, about what is happening in their side of the world, and what is happening in our side of the world. And we could create a better possible solution within the multi-stakeholder environment, so that things can result in more of an effective and efficient solution.
Yes, it was so insightful to see in those forums that they are prioritizing people of different diversity, even prioritizing people who are differently abled, and helping get insights from everyone, formulating policies, and getting comments from everyone, and involving people from all country, all genders, without any bias. So that was very insightful to see when I was attending one of those forums.
Yes.
And uh, how can youth contribute to IGF and internet governance?
Okay.
That would be my next question.
Okay, so the most important thing that youths have to understand is, youth are never taken into consideration anywhere in the world. So for this, what the youth have to do is they have to work on their skills. First, get the values, right? I mean to say, when we talk about the legal age limit, then a youth is not able to, get an official that driving license, or there are a lot of things, right? I mean to say, the underage and the middle age and the farther age. So, but one thing that we have to understand is, if you give proper values to a youth, he can work his way within the ecosystem. And the internet ecosystem works in the bottoms up approach, right? Bottoms way level, right? So even that way, youth are prioritized. And as I said earlier, that youth have the challenges and problems. So when youth have the challenges and problems, we if you give them values, they'll probably be working their way up, giving solutions. They know the problems. So it's an easy way for everyone, even for the government, right? Look into your communities where there are aware youth, the environment is cleaner, things are working out better, and it is more easy because an aware youth is an asset, right? So that is the reason why the IGF focuses on creating youth values, motivating youth, getting them ideas, trying to work them. Because in this today's world of technology, everything is possible. Let me tell you, everything. You have your social media. What do you use it for? You use it for entertainment. But why don't you use it for education? Why don't you use it like this? Today I'm sharing it, my knowledge with you. So this is a exponential use of communication media. Using Google Meet, we are sharing knowledge, we are bridging the gaps. This is what is needed. This is how we are going to create. With the knowledge that I have, I'm sharing it with 16 people, 15 people here. So the 16 people go back to their communities, talk about this, talk with their parents, the ripple is created, right? And this is what is wanted or needed. you know it is all about understanding. It is all about making use of the resources that is available, and creating those engagement where it is very important, and that's how we change the world. um,
Yes, exactly. And my next question to Sir would be, how does IGF address like other global issues like internet access, cybersecurity, and misinformation? How does it do that?
so as I said earlier, you know a lot of these issues impact groups, the user groups, right? And especially when you talk about the users group, a lot of these users are youth. So once you start to talk about the issues, only then the solutions come in. Only then, what next, the question comes in. If you don't talk, things don't start. I mean to say, look at the situation right now in Asia. We have language barriers, we don't talk. Asia is lacking behind because we have language barriers and we don't talk. We are very non-communicable people. I strongly believe in this. We are very friendly, but we are not that comfortable in communicating, right? So once we start to communicate, you would be surprised. Back then, in 2013, when I went to IGF in one of the UNESCO sessions, uh, of they were talking about freedom of expression, and I'm a career journalist, so I started my career back in 2000, working as a journalist. So somebody, a white guy, stood up and shared something about Asia. I was like surprised. I'm a guy from Nepal, from Asia, who's working in freedom of expression as a journalist, and somebody, a white guy, stands up and says his report says this. So I was like annoyed, and I said, this is the situation in Nepal. I'm a Asian. I'm supposed to talk, and this is what made an impact. And a lot of the people talked about it. And this is the power that we have to practice. This is the power where the Asian people, we have to start communicating. We have to move ahead with talking about our challenges, talking about our problems. We all know the problems, but a person from that country, from that place, or from that sector can put it in a more passionate and real way than a person who is just sitting there with a report. So that is
Exactly.
my point. So you have to understand the issues, and it is very important for the youth to step up so that the issues can be brought up.
I also had actually like a similar experience to you. Uh, when I was attending EPRIGF, someone else had written an article about Bhutan, and me being a Bhutanese, I was really shocked that the insights they had, I think they did their research and write that article, but it was not exactly as correct whatever they had written in the article. So I had quite a similar experience to Sir. So I thought, oh, we should really
Right,
step up our game and make our voice heard.
right,
So yes,
right.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Once you go out, then you understand the importance of why we should engage in all these dialogues, because you cannot be represented. Let me tell you, I'm a Asian, but I cannot represent Bhutan. I cannot. I can help you, give the values, international standard, but a person from Bhutan has to step in to talk about Bhutanese issues. So
Ah,
that is
yes,
very relevant and that is very important, and that's where we come in. I mean to say, when you talk about learn internet governance, it is not just a YouTube channel. It is a initiation. It is an initiative, especially for the youth. So we want to, and with this, we have not only made videos, but we have made genuine impact. I mean to say, we have done research. You would not believe that I started writing a research paper because I was engaging in IGF, and when I searched, I could not find data, and I was surprised. And then I started, because I'm a journalist from career, so documentation is a huge part of me. So I understand the importance of document. So and then I started researching. And then I started writing papers and recommending, participating. And that's how today, now, when I make when I go and participate in a policy, I always am prepared. I always have documents to support that. And these things help me to establish myself, and to make more concrete discussion about what the situation is and how we can change.
Yes, actually, when we are going into these forums, we can never be too prepared. Like there's so much to discuss, so much to talk, so much insights to give. So it's always good to read lots of papers and
So true.
really understand the problems that we are having here in our
Right.
countries. Uh, Now, that was really insightful, whatever you talked about, sir. Like how IGF plays an important role in how you can get involved in shaping the future of internet. And it's really clear that IGF plays a very critical in shaping how internet serves us all. Now let's dive into how individuals, especially youth, can get involved. What are some ways, some practical ways for young people to start contributing to IGF discussions?
Okay. So this is very important, how you can participate, right? So there are different types of fellowship programs that open up with APRIGF, ICANN. There is EPNIC, there is dot asia. So you all could see this and align yourself with what your interest is. If you are a networking student, go with the EPNIC fellowship. If you are a policy guy, you want to talk more about, you're more engaged in, you want to talk about research, engage in ICANN, Internet Society, things like that. So it's all about you. But it is very important to understand the relevancy, that what you are bringing to the community is very important, right? So you have to understand that a lot of the money is spent for you in these programs, so you have to know that you will contribute back as well, just like Prerna right now is doing this, right? Because she was part of APRIGF and now she's contributing back. You have brought in 15 people. So for me, meeting new 15 people from Bhutan was not possible, but now we are doing it. We are motivating you. I'm telling you about the fellowship programs. You could apply, you could see. So the prospect is like this, right? And I always ask people to do some documentation. When I say documentation, if internet is not working, try to get into the issue, try to understand what is happening, right? Write blogs, and right, you don't have to be negative all the time. You can write good stuff. You can write things about what can be done for your country, for or what is efficient, right? So you have to be positive. You have to understand the challenges, problems, and if possible, do some research. You all are students, right? University researches are there, so try to make up research about that are relevant. you know I will tell you why we Asians are lacking behind, because our academics is very weak. We are very weak in researching, right? And that is the reason why, that literally I'm telling you, the policies are made like, especially if you look at the American side or the UK, then all these organizations, the education sector are very 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 influencing, like Oxford, Harvard, MIT, you name it. These organizations are the base of public policy process. And in ours, we have very limited organizations, and we don't have values. In public policy process, it is very simple. I'll simplify this as simple. Public policy process is the process that enables public to voice out their issues, finding a solution, and reaching to a consensus. That is a public policy process. That's how policy is made. It's as simple as that. And why is it a problem in Asia? I mean to say, every time there is a policy that is coming out, we are having problems. So youth have to understand this. You have to understand the challenges in your country and work in creating an opportunity within that. Right? Facilitate, work. Get 10 people, talk about what are the challenges of internet in your country. Write a report, write a blog, put it up. It's the age of the technology. People will search you. And if there are, a lot of the times what happens is, like, big projects come in, NGOs, INGOs, they do all sorts of research, and their reports are influenced by the direction of what the whole motive of the project is. It is not directly directed to the user individuals, but it is basically intended with the project's objective, right? So a lot of the times those real issues are not focused. So what you want to do is, you want to empower yourself, you want to use the skills, write blogs, do research paper, put it in internet, use hashtag, social media is there, create a buzz. That is what youthness is all about. If you don't stand for change, I believe, I'm a youth, I'm a 30 plus guy, plus still, right? But I consider myself a youth. I'm in my late 40s, but I consider myself youth because I have the energy, I have the passion. Why? Because I want to change the world, I want to change the Asian. As I said earlier, when I went to Indonesia, somebody, a white skin, stood up and said about Asia, no, it is not acceptable for me. I stood up and I said, no, this is not happening in Asia. Asia is like this. In Nepal, this is. I said, I gave example of what was happening in Nepal. So that is the thing. Youth have to be empowered.
Okay, seems like we have some questions in the chat, but we'll address this question in the Q&A part at the end.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, are there any specific programs like Youth IGF initiatives or fellowship that you'd recommend for beginners?
Yeah, yeah, I mean to say, especially for the youth, there is fellowship ambassador programs from Internet Society. They provide the free internet governance course. Just go through. You guys are youth. First, understand what internet governance is. There are free courses with ICANN, with Internet Society, with ethnic, all these resources. Search, please. I'm not going to share the links. Do a search. You are youth, you can do it. Search internet governance course with ISOC. They have these available. It's a free resource, you don't have to pay anything. You'll get a certificate as well. Once you do it, you'll get a certificate as well, and you can present that as well. And once you do that, uh, you know go start looking into the fellowship program. So the Internet Society, it has its ambassador program. They fund for the youth IGF, but you have to understand what youth IGF is, and then you could probably facilitate the process. And you could also participate in the next gen program of ICANN. So ICANN also has its youth mentorship program, which is known as next gen. So every year they have like three opportunities to travel around the globe where newcomers come in, especially youth is also there. And fellowship is given to them, so you have to understand the criteria and then apply. And ethnic also, ethnic, if you are interested in technical like networking, internet servers and stuff, go for ethnic. And all these opportunities are easily available if you could show that you're working, you have written, you have the values, they give you the fellowship. And you have
I
got the
think,
fellowship as well, so you can tell
yeah.
better than me how easy it is to get the fellowship.
Yes, and for me particularly, how I got into this and how I got to learn about this is I joined the Net Mission Academy, which is I think which was started by Dot Asia. It's still there. They finished the 2025 cohorts though, so they really talk about all the basics of internet governance. They even have a selection process if you're interested. So if you want to get into more of IGF, I definitely recommend all the youth or people here to look into Net Mission Academy because they really explain what opportunities we have and how we can voice out our voice as youth. Uh, okay,
And Prerna,
yeah,
there are other resources as well. Like in Facebook, you know we have our group called ICANN Circle, where we share
uh,
information about ICANN, right? From fellowship
Yes.
to all these details. Even the Learn IG, Learn Internet Governance, we have a page in Facebook as well, where we generally share information about fellowships, about different fellowships, about there are resources. There are resources. We have developed a lot of resources, especially with the youth, about how to engage in ICANN, newcomer toolkit, with how to start a multi-stakeholder process and things like that. So we do a lot of work. And despite all these internet organization, there are a lot of people who are willing to help people, because it's the nature of the community, right? Because the community is lacking behind, because a lot of the communities are not moving ahead, and we want to reach out and bring them down to the table, because multi-stakeholder dialogue is all about bringing it's a bottoms up approach, right?
Yes.
So the unreachable, the unidentified, gender, inclusion, participation. And one thing that you have to understand is the basic importance of what inclusion is, or diversity, or representation. Because when we talk about inclusion, there is no segregation. When we talk about inclusivity, we bring in people. When we talk about participation, there is a competition, right? And when you talk about diversity, it goes out to the mass. So you have to understand these values, that each of these words are very important, and each of them give you the understanding of what multi-stakeholder is all about. It is empowering who are not empowered, right? Giving opportunities, especially to gender. If you look at all these forums, gender is prioritized, disability is prioritized. Why? Because they are not representing. So that is the reason why. So those voices are lagging behind.
To represent everyone from all the
Right,
sectors and
right,
yes.
communities, right.
Yes, that's really insightful. Also, I wanted to ask sir to share an example of a youth-led initiative or project that came out of IGF.
So there are a lot of IGF. People have started a lot of initiatives. There was a group called Youth for IG. Even our group, Learn IG, was started. I mean to say, I started engaging. Then I got the point. There are others as well. So people are working in their own capacities in different regions, different places. Even you could start it in Bhutan as well. You could, with all your people. We have 21. I mean to say 19 or 20 people. You could do a IGF, youth IGF. Talk about what the challenges of youth is in Bhutan. So it is all about how you understand, how you take the values. And one thing that you have to understand is empowerment doesn't need money. Empowerment doesn't need resources. Empowerment is here in the brain, in the perception, in the ideology, in the passion. Empowerment doesn't require money. Let me tell you, I'm doing this program. We are using all the free resources that are available. We are not using any paid Zoom account or anything. Nobody empowered me to do this, but it was your passion that motivated me to do it. So it is like the values. And I believe when I started engaging, we were given very beautiful values, that equality is equal for all, right? So that is the reason I don't take you as a competition, Prerna. Let me tell you, I take you as part of my legacy, that I mentored you. Now it is my responsibility to guide you, so that we create that line, so that Bhutan is represented. And it is so sad, it is so sad. Let me tell you, I can humbly say this, but Asia is not India. Asia is not just China. Asia has to be represented by all the countries that are there, regardless of how many number of population. Asia has to be represented by Bhutan. Asia has to be represented by Sri Lanka. Asia has to be represented by Cambodia. And these values are implemented to us, by internet governance. So that is what multi-stakeholder in true values is, that you understand the potentiality, you understand the values, you understand the importance of what openness, accountability, transparency is, and that's how you use it.
Yes, it was really I don't know, like really I was really surprised to see that open stage was given to a
Right,
student studying in college, and to a CEO that they were sharing the same stage and they were able to voice out their problems on
Right,
the same stage, and whatever they are saying is being considered.
right.
That
It's
I think
recorded.
that
Right,
platform is IGF. So
right,
I think everyone should become a part of this and become aware of this, because all of us are using internet, but we are not like we for 21 years of my life, I was not sure how the internet government like internet policies were formulated, but I have been using internet since the time I don't know like when I think a lot back in time, but I was not sure like how the internet policies were being formulated and all. So everyone who's using internet, who has a mobile device with the internet reception, should be aware of how the policies are being formulated and should know whether their problems are being heard and being resolved or not. So I think everyone should be
right.
aware of this, learn about internet governance forum, and voice out if they have any kind of issues and problem.
Yeah, one thing that we have to understand is, a lot of the times what happens is, the regional, regional, what do you call it, weightness impacts us. I mean to say, if a country is big, a lot of the policies are considered and made according to that. But when we talk about internet governance, it is all about individuality. It is all about your choices, your issues, right? So that's what is important, right? So when you are making your policy, a lot of the policy will be influenced from, about our neighbors, what they are doing, but we forget to address our issues, right? And IG, internet governance, what it does is your values, your issues, your challenges. That is what the importance is all about. That is where the bottoms up approach comes in. That is where, okay, now our internet users, have these barriers, our internet users have these challenges, so we have to address this. So these issues are brought by you know the stakeholders, the groups. So this is the reason why it is very important, that it gives focus to the unheard voices.
I think that's all that I have from my side, the questions that I wanted to ask you. Now, let's hear from our audience and answer their questions. I think there are quite a few questions that are dropped by Mr. Manoj Adhikari. So, first is,
Okay,
what is the definition of youth? UN agencies have different age ranges defining youth. It's always confusing. That's the first question.
that's a tricky question, because yeah, UN has given a certain age limit under 30. I think a lot of the fellowships in the community are under 30, especially for the youth. But there is a certain age limit that is segregated, and I believe that, Manoji, if you want to work for the youth, if you have a youth heart, if you I believe youthiness is not about age. I strongly believe in this. You need to have that passion. You need to have that value for change. Youth is all about action and change. Two things, right? Understand. Youth is all about action and change. The older people, they have more. They think. And I don't consider though I'm in my 40s, I do not consider myself in the thing. Prerna said, "Let's do it." We did it. This is and look at the impact that we are creating. you know we are not getting any recognition, we are not getting anything, but what we are gaining is we are getting to share our values, and we are multiplying. And I'm telling you about the knowledge, about the learnings that I have, so that you guys can apply for these fellowships, for these values, right? And it multiplies, and that is the way how we should grow, right? If you share, I shared with you, 20 people, then the 20 people share, goes talk to, goes back to their homes, talks with their community. That is youthfulness. So there might be certain age, especially with the ICANN, with the and that is there because of a cause, because all these events, there are certain wrong practices that are happening. So they have to segregate within the line about the age limit, they have to set that. But I believe once you're a young from heart, once you have the passion for change, once you have the action, you're always young.
Yes. I think particularly in IGF, according to my knowledge, with the course that I took from Internet Society that we are required during KPR IGF, so they were saying from around 18 to up to 30, they do consider
30,
youth.
yeah.
But
Generally that
yes,
is the age. Under 30 is considered as youth.
youth.
So now,
But if you're
let me tell you, now they have also started the teen coalition. So I'm part of the teen coalition as well. Why? Because their issues are different, right? The teen group, they have different issues. So they have created. Uh, so these things have to be understood, right? Different age, different stakeholder, different people have different issues, and now it is more getting into the action where these stakeholders want to talk, because the point is when you communicate, only then solutions come in. If you don't communicate, and as we Asians are, we don't communicate. We have language barriers, we have communication barriers. We are very friendlier people, let me tell you. We are very friendlier people, we like to help people when they come in, but we have problems in communication. So that's what impedes us.
okay, so the next question is, can one nation start IGF and youth IGF simultaneously?
Yes, yes, yes. A lot of these practices have been happening. In Bangladesh, it is happening. Even in Nepal, there is a youth IGF. Even in Bhutan, you can start the discussion about IGF as well as the youth IGF as well, because the issues are completely different. Because IGF talks about a generic platform of standardization in internet, whereas youth IGF talks about the youth issues, right? So these issues can be absorbed by the IGF, but they are different in terms of what the challenges are, what the problems are, right? So the problem that I'm seeing is the values, right? Especially for a kid, for a teen, the values has to be different. For a youth, the value has to be different. For a aged man, right? That we are seeing right now. I mean to say, if you look at the practice now, right now, let's look at WhatsApp, right? A lot of the older people are having problems with adapting to what the WhatsApp messages are, like the things that come on, right? With the Nigerian fraud letters, or the all these phishing activities that happen. So those values are different, and those challenges have to address differently. And if the stakeholder doesn't give you the right point, then we cannot, like sitting in a policy chair, the person cannot identify the problem, saying it, okay, once you go into the problem, once you feel, once you understand the vitalities of the problem, only then you will be able to give the solution. That is the reason why it is segregated now. So the youth, they have the challenges. The teen is like still in the developing process. It will probably come in the later ages, because with the boom of the internet right now, technology is available, especially with the kids, right? The teens and the kids. So they have a separate issues. So that is the reason why a newer discussion has started.
Okay, we also have another question from Mr. Manoj Adhikari. What role does a government play in IGF? It's like twisting your own arm. This is a paradox I feel.
Yeah, I mean to say, look, we have to understand this. Government is probably like a parent, like everywhere around the globe. The government is more about, it wants to protect, but what it does is overprotects, right? So you wanna facilitate them, you wanna work with them, you know and create your own way, right? Just the way we work it out with our parents. If you want something, what do? You don't fight, right? You understand their values and you try to make it them work within yourself. So I'm clearly saying this, that especially, don't get into the fight with what is right and wrong, but try to work your way within the government. That way it is win-win situation for them, because look, it's very important to understand the role of what government is all about. And once you sit into the government's role, it is very hard, right? Because we do this role play sessions, like we place few of the people participant in the civil society place with, then we change them to the technical stakeholder group, then we place them to government, and their perspective changes as they change the role. So it is very hard to understand what government, and government cannot be like, I don't want to do this. No, it has to look into the social welfare. There is like a broader thing, right, which needs to be considered. And I think the best way is to work within the parameters, and then discuss about issues about what can be done.
So basically, collaborating with government to
Yes,
solve the problems.
facilitating, because look, they have the
Okay,
power, they have the money, they have the resources. You being a civil society, we can facilitate them. They are for us, they are there to protect us, right?
yes,
So fighting is not the solution, but working with them is the only solution.
yes. Also, how can someone with no prior experience in internet governance start participating in IGF?
That's what i said that's what i said I gave you a good information that search for the internet governance courses. There are free courses available. Go first, get the values, understand what it is, right? When you take a bath or something, first you check the water, right? If it's hot or cold, only then you dip in, or only then you open the showers, or once you check the water, only then. So first get the values, first understand. You attended this, now you have an idea about what internet governance is all about. So now going to look into ISOC, become a member, start looking for fellowship, go for the courses. This is very important aspect. That is the reason why outreaching and engagement is very important from your side. Once you start to engage, once you start to outreach, only then things work. If people are not outreaching and engaging, if people are just traveling, things don't work out, right? If you start,
Hmm.
like you're reaching out, you're doing an effort. Now we have 22 people, we have 20 people. So at least out of 20, you know two go to the website, join the course. That's a change. That's how we change the world. You don't change the world like this. No, things won't change. Things change one at a time. Things change, me meeting you, me talking with you, you understanding my values, now you doing a course. So it works like in a very small pace, and it creates a bigger, bigger goals, bigger objectives. And you have to work. You have to align. When you have a bigger objective, you have to play, and you have to work hard.
Yes, sir. Speaking about fellowships, are there any upcoming IGF events or fellowship initiatives that beginners can join?
Yeah, yeah. I mean to say, just go and like the pages of ISOC, ICANN, EPNIC. You'll have all the information there. You guys are youth. Try to be like this. Understand the value of importance. Understand the value of social media. Why are they there in social media? They are there to communicate, disseminate. And what do we do with
Uh,
social media? Okay, I'm at this place, I'm at doing this. We are not using social media as per what it is for, right? So use it. All these information are shared in their social media channels. Even
yes,
UNIGF, they have their Facebook pages, social media, Twitter, they are there, LinkedIn, they are there. Add people.
I
You
think
you Yeah.
especially this year, APR IGF is going to be held in Nepal, right?
Right. So apply. So
So,
before
yes,
doing that, try to go for the free courses, and then apply.
yes,
Do something, engagement, and then you do like this. APSIG is there. Asia Pacific School of Internet Governance is there. So you want to join
yes,
that as well. So but everybody wants you to have certain knowledge. Nobody wants a empty mind. Everybody wants someone who can learn, someone who can engage, and someone who can give back, go back and give back to the community. So these things are very important. So when you come, You come with your fresh mind, with a learning attitude, with a giving attitude to the community. That way we create change. If you come with the attitude, okay, I want to travel, I want to go, I want to move, no, 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 no. You have to create engagements. And there are a lot of opportunities. There are leadership trainings. There are, you could travel, traveling is just a perk. And it's the same people in the community, let me tell you, right? So we know who is trying to engage, who is trying to is just there for fun. So if you genuinely have that attitude, if you genuinely are interested in voicing out the issues, especially from your side or learning, then do join.
I think that's all for the questions right now. Thank you for your question, Mr. Manoj. It's wonderful to see so much curiosity about IGF and internet governance among everyone. Also, I think, is there any final notes from your side? Sir?
uh, uh, is there any question? I would like to open up. If anybody wants to ask anything, or say hi also, I would love to hear your voice, because from past 1 hour or so I've been talking. And as I say, Bhutan is a beautiful country, beautiful people like us, very humble, and hugely appreciate the work that you have been doing, especially with tourism and travel, as well as try to contribute, try to learn, go for all these free courses. You could always type, search admin in uh, admin in social media, and let's engage LinkedIn as well. And if there is a possibility of collaboration or engagement, let's do it.
Yes, sir. Are there any other questions from the group? Okay, we have question from Abdul Latif. Uh, can the IGF secure long-term financial support to sustain its operations?
Yes, there are different organizations that support the IGF initiative. For example, for running an IGF, national IGF, you mean to say the IGF, the international IGF or the local IGF? If it's the international IGF, then probably the IGF is funded by the UN, so they do take care of that. Regarding the local IGF, it is, there are organizations like Internet Society, ICANN. You could always apply for funds. You have IGF SA, so that's a IGF supporting association that gives you certain funds if you are interested. And if you're doing a national IGF, they do provide you with funds. There are groups that support you. So you just need to form a group, and you just need to approach. And there are people like us who willingly contribute and support, like whatever you want. We could connect, we could collaborate in whatever ways you want. So what if IGF fails to align and adapt the upcoming technologies such as AI and blockchain and Web3? Okay, so one thing that you have to understand is IGF is a multi-stakeholder environment. It is more about talking about challenges, problems, and things. So there has been a talk about IGF failing, but as I said earlier, it is still an informal event. It is not a formal event of the event of the ISOC. Why do I say this? Because the report that is submitted is taken in a kind of like a suggestion,
Mm,
right? So the UN works with the unilateral ways. It doesn't work in the multi-stakeholder ways, right? So it is gradually growing. They have understand the importance of multi-stakeholderism. That is the reason why they started it, right? And they are financing it, right? So they are looking into the outcomes, and there are things that are happening. So we have to make it more possible, we have to make it more workable, right, from our side, from our level. And I think it will not fail, because ultimately, why? Because greater things are happening, collaboration is happening. If UNIGF was not there, then even I would not be here talking with you like this. I'm a person from Nepal. Why would I reach out to a person in Bangladesh, okay, sorry, Bhutan, about starting an IGF if I didn't have the values? So I think there is a greater implication in long term. Though people are very short term, and they try to see short term results, but I think It matters. It matters. I'll tell you why. Because a person who is using internet from US has certain values and has certain ways, right? Shouldn't I be having the same values and ways? Why should I be discriminated, or why should you be discriminated? There can be country restriction, we can understand, cultural restriction, we can understand, but the basic fundamental values has to be same. That is what UNIGF talks about: accountability, transparency, openness. That's what UNESCO and all these organizations stands for. The values, that is very important. Once the values are clear, you are sorted. You can create policies, you can do things. We are not sorted right now because we don't have good values in our countries, right? If you look at us in Nepal, we don't have good proper policies. The public policy process in Nepal is crap. I strongly say this. Why? Because recently I went to a conference, and a lot of the people were talking about saying, AI is dangerous, this and that. Elon Musk said this. Elon Musk said, the world is gonna. It's scary. AI is scary, and I told them, why is it scary? Why are we taking the controversies theories? Elon Musk is the same guy who is earning billions, whose net worth is in billions because of AI, and he's saying the AI is wrong, and we are believing it. No, AI is not gonna is not wrong. AI is gonna be wrong if we have the wrong values. If we give right values to our people, and there is only a fraction of thing that has been explored, right? And if you look at Nepal's practice, it's in billions. Like the outsourcing that we do, especially with all these technological advancement and the programming, everything is in billions. And we are saying AI is bad, AI is doing this. And I told them that we have to target the problem, right? If the government people don't have the values, let's work it in the ways where we can generate proper values for the government. I said it in a conference. So we have to understand, when we have the right values, when we have the right ways to say it, and when we you can change the public policy process, you put it in the right way
I
and think
think that's why like multi-stakeholder like group is
right,
important to
right,
develop AI policies in such a way
right,
that it involves different
right.
perspectives, so it can be developed in the right way and doesn't harm everyone in the future, I guess.
Yes, because if you look at AI, the way science and technology innovation looks at AI is completely different. The way government looks at it is completely different. The way private sector looks at it is completely different. Private sector has no problems, let me tell you. Only the government and the civil society has a problem. Even in Bhutan, you guys are like ahead. You guys sold such a the thing. I mean to say the cryptos, right? Very smart move. That is, in Nepal it's blocked. I mean to say cryptos are banned here. So you have to be smart in understanding, adapting, that can benefit you, protect you as well as benefit you. So that's where the different consideration, the different the multi-stakeholder community comes in. Because when you talk about all these technologies things, it's not just one perspective, there are various perspectives.
I think if we get into AI, blockchain, in Web3, we'll get
Yes,
into a different
yes,
loophole, and I think it's a very big topic. Uh, So, especially in IGF, last time Achanamka was saying that EPR IGF 2023, it was conducted in Australia. So unfortunately, even though he was selected for the fellowship, he was not able to apply for visa. So he voiced out his opinion, and he voiced out saying that it would be very good if we could conduct EPR IGF in a place where it's easier to get visa. So he was saying like they took his input and conducted it in Taiwan in 2024. So he was really happy that yes, even if it's a very small comment, they do take in your comments
yeah,
and do make decisions accordingly. So every voice and every comment
matters.
matters. Yeah. I think we
No,
only have 7 minutes now, sir. So maybe
okay,
we
no
should
worries.
wrap
Yeah,
up the
I'll
meeting.
probably wrap it up with this. So, it is very important that we understand and look about the community, about what is happening where. When you are in those forum, try to. That is the reason why I always say, come prepared, voice out the right thing, because if you voice the right thing, then it will be noticed, it will be documented, right? So that is very important. So, you come prepared with the values, you come understanding how it works, and things do change. So it will take time, but things do change.
Yes, I think. Thank you for this insightful session, sir, for sharing your knowledge and insights with us today. It's been fascinating to learn about the Internet Governance Forum and its role in shaping the Internet's future. And a big thank you to everyone who joined uh, and asked us such thoughtful questions today. Okay, Abdul has a comment. The blockchain and Web3 mainly focuses on decentralization, but I perceive IGF to be a centralized platform with multi-stakeholders. What are your thoughts? How do you think multi-stakeholders will agree to decentralization?
No, look, I completely agree with your perspective, but it is just part of technology. Decentralization is important. Blockchain technology, is very important in terms of how we are gonna perceive in future, right? So, you cannot ignore it. You have to start the discussion, especially if you look at my country. Cryptos are banned. So we have a lot of pressure from, not just from the local government, but the understandability, and there are a lot of things. There are, pressures, because China is there. So we there are a lot of issues with money laundering and stuff like that. There are a lot of issues here, right? So I strongly believe it's a different part of technology, right? IGF works with values, right? And it is connected in somehow, and it is trying to work it way. So IG works with the value generation, so that connects. And I think it will more align with the values, giving creating multi-stakeholder work, creating those values, and it will grow. And I believe it is a strong part. And there are a lot things to come. So, we are seeing the boom. We are seeing what blockchain can do. It is not just crypto. It is about keeping a record, things. There are like endless. So it is growing. So probably want to talk that more, I guess. I'm also very interested in blockchain technology and Web3. But since we are talking today about IG, internet governance, so we'd like to focus in that. But certainly there has been talks about a blockchain, the values, the people. They do have sessions about it. If you're interested, please do join in. These meetings are remotely hosted as well. So you can participate, contribute. So it's all your willingness, and you can contribute there. So, saying this, I would like to take your leave, because I also have my further engagement. And back to you, Prerna. And thank you all
Okay,
for
thank
listening.
you. Thank you for engaging everyone. For those interested in learning more, I'll drop Sir Shreedeep's YouTube channel's link, Learn Internet Governance, in the chat. That is a very fantastic resource for diving deeper into IGF and internet governance topics. So you can subscribe and learn more about internet governance there. Thank you again, Shreedeep sir,
Thank
and
you.
thank you all the participants for joining us today. Let's stay connected and continue shaping Internet's future together. Have a great day, everyone, and hopefully we'll see each other again in the next session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.